BreiEndia, my 90-day self-journeys retreat in 808 Tavern. I'm out and about because today is my day of self-prioritizing and getting in line my self-priorities. With this day, I'm just enthusiastic about being able to put together everything for the completion of this first 30 days. This 30 days, it was the intro to the 90-day retreat. I was more sitting in the house, doing things in the house, work in the house, saving money, That was the first 30 days of the self-journeys, while also the world was having its quarantine thing going on. So generally, I was able to just reflect on a more personal level, but in stillness more. So now that I'm going to be evolving into phase 2 of the 90-day retreat of self-journeys, I am allowing myself to take a road trip that will give me a different perspective on just things in general, and allow myself to, instead of planning too much, the only thing I'm planning is the safety measures, the emergency measures, and my backup plans for, if something doesn't go as a part of the itinerary. Now, I do have, but today being self-priorities day, I am taking the time to make sure that I have an itinerary and that I have all of the physical, intangible things that I need. Now, because I've been on this type of diet where I don't eat as many things, and there's certain things that I eat that I could just go to a farmer's market, that is what I'm going to be doing. So I noticed there's a lot of people of different races outside of the black race who have done this, like who have traveled more than just on a plane, but literally drove and just chose to use that as a means to reflect and to clear their mind. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not necessarily making it a destinations trip. It's not a because I have to get here for this or because I have to go here for that. I'm literally taking this trip so that I can clear my mind, so I can get closer to myself. And I noticed that in prior years and prior days and months, driving long distances has always been like a weird I've always had like a weird passion about it. Now, I do have an apartment, but because I am in this road mind frame, I'm not worrying too much about the actual trip itself. I'm worried more about the things I'm leaving behind and making sure that if I do happen to return to them, they're in a place that isn't much, but it's just storage. So I have my second vehicle in the storage unit, and I have my items in the storage unit, all in the same area in Baltimore. That way, when I leave, if I gotta cancel my lease or whatever may need to be done, so be it. But it's not meant to put myself in a predicament where I gotta hurry up and rush back. That's the whole point of having a storage unit. And I'm just giving the perspective of how I'm planning my road trip. So other than the storage units, I also have been taking stuff out of my apartment that are valuable to me and putting it in my storage unit. And then it's small. I have a little small studio, so fortunately I don't have a lot of things anyway that I have to worry about bringing with me. This is gonna be my road warrior partner, my car, my Clyde. I call him my Clyde because literally even last year in 2019, when I was doing a lot of driving back and forth just from Maryland to Georgia, because I was trying to establish myself in a job in Georgia at the hospital in Emory, I just realized that there was things that were out of my control with me trying to do medicine. So I still want to do medicine, but I'm going to take this trip to literally look at other places and how they, in other states. This is a USA trip. So who knows how many states I will get to touch, I will get to see. But the goal in mind is to as a Black woman, be able to get out here and be able to explore the map of the USA, the land I was born on. Even though I have ancestors that may be from, Africa, Asia, the Caribbean islands and everything like that, ultimately, I was born here. So because of that, it's really always been a thing for me to keep track of the history of my own life, and understanding family has been a part of the journey, because between last year and this year, I've been coming back closer to family, came back to Baltimore so that I could get close back with my mom and my dad and my siblings and aunts and uncles, my grandma, my grandpa, and just so many different aspects of accepting the family that I may not be close with, and then accepting those that will always be there, and allowing things to be rekindled, healing family wounds between myself and relationships with family members, and leaving it where it is. And ultimately, prayer and having God centered in every situation and relationship that I have is a big thing. Is that, no matter who I was before 2020, I'm building a new format of my spirit, and I have to get to know continually who she is within myself. So, because I'm taking the time to dedicate towards getting to know me, it was necessary for me to heal family wounds and things that I wanted to say that I could have just said to God and left it there. I chose to share it with the family members that I wanted to, speak to about it. I don't expect everybody to want to hear it or whatever, but I said what I said. I spoke my piece. Same thing with exes and old friends and, new friends. It's just a matter of me appreciating the fact that I have the opportunity to do as I please in my life at this time, in this moment. I can be free. I can travel the way that I desire to. And traveling, I won't say is my first love, but I really do enjoy being able to get in my car and just go. So I was like, what am I waiting for? Because this is in my spirit, and I love to see different places and different things and meet new people. Why not? I understand that it's 2020, and unfortunately we still have to have things like the Black Lives Movement in order to kind of regulate and put in structures for people to be able to do things as Black people. But what I'm doing as a Black woman in 2020 is choosing to step out on the faith of myself and of God and of the freedom that this country told me that I have as a Black individual, as a Black woman. And I'm going to travel each state. I know that there is laws in each state. There's different things in each state, but ultimately this is a free country. And I want to enjoy my 20s. This isn't even the last year of my 20s, but I'm just choosing this year specifically to travel the map of the USA, because I like nature. So I want to go look at different mountains. I want to see sites that I've never seen before other than on TV or in books. I want to see them in person. I want to take pictures of myself in front of monuments or in museums, or just have sites. I love sites. I love visuals. Not a professional photographer. I'm considering studying it just for the sake of learning how to make it more, do well with the editing and stuff like that. I'm really getting into the idea of utilizing that creative interest. While I am also on my trip, I will be probably stopping different places to choose to pull out my easel and my boards and do a little bit of sketching and painting. And that is something that I'm going to be probably incorporating into the trip, as well as I'm going to be in the middle of taking a yoga certification and Pilates instructions course. So the first one is the yoga, and that's probably going to be mostly what I'll be doing throughout the trip. When I stop places, I will be going specifically, I went to see and visit Black businesses in every state that I'm in. So if I can be able to find that, I'm going to talk to those people. I'm going to ask them for interviews. I'm going to speak to people and get to know people in this country, because I really do enjoy the fact that this is my home. I don't want to have to feel like I have to run and flee to anywhere else when this is where I was born. This is what I know. Regardless of who here does not like me, I'm going to live my life according to my free will. So that's what I'm doing within the ordinance of this trip. I am going to use that yoga instruction time to just pick probably park areas, areas with grass and everything like that, so that I can be able to use the moments where I have to actually move my body in the class and actually, be in depth of the positions and everything, as well as making sure to do my meditation. And I love doing it outside. I just enjoy it. At nighttime, I will be making sure to get rest. Probably be sleeping in my car more than stopping at hotels, just because for one, I don't have that much money to be just stopping at hotels all the time. For two, that's how I'm planning to budget on this trip, is to be able to do it where I'm not just spending unnecessary money other than for my souvenirs, my pictures, my gas, and water and food. And that's all the supplies I need. I have books to read. I have my easel for paint. I have my journal. I intend on getting a stamp or some type of something to put in my book for the journaling portion of the trip. So I will be journaling. I'm going to try to get the stamps to keep track of each day. I'm still marking the type of self day it is. So with today being self priorities, I'm just sharing how I'm prioritizing my trip. And most of it is just bringing out my creative efforts. There are things that I did and do in my life that I enjoy because I get to help people. Medicine is something that really is near and dear to my heart, because I really do enjoy being able to evaluate and see whether or not I can be of assistance to someone's pain being relieved, or grief being healed, or mental being shifted to more calm or positive thought process. So with that being said, I'm taking a break from medicine until I am able to get into the next part of schooling. But before I do that, I'm using this year as a secondary gap year to seriously look at the fact that, okay, my accomplishments of the past. I have a degree. I have, an honorable discharge from the U.S. military, from being in the National Guard, the Army National Guard. I have a lot of accolades that I don't necessarily need to speak on, but it's the things that I've done. I looked at in this past 30 days of SELFJOURNEYS 90-day retreat and was able to see I have done a lot of things for myself and for my past to prepare for my future already. But I really have things that I have not done yet when it comes to the part of me that desires to be free with my art, my expressions, dancing, drawing, painting, writing, all of those forms of art. I actually enjoy all of them, especially photos and a digital version of an image. Like, I want to get into that. I'm interested in film. I'm interested in all those things. So because of that, I'm going to use this road trip to kind of really look at my life and say, nothing has gone to waste in my time just because I may have done things that were on the right side of my brain more than the left. Now I can actually choose to look at these things that I enjoy internally and start to just meditate on them to see how I can incorporate them in my life either now or later. So this first video I'm going to post, this is just the first portion of self priorities. I will get into more depth about this day and this week. So this is BreiEndia 90-day SELFJOURNEYS retreat in 808 Tavern. Video 1, July 22nd, 2020. Let's go. Talk to y'all again in a minute.